820 here, Big 550. 820 here, Big 550 KTRS. Brian Holscher is with us. He is a Metro Sewer District Executive Director. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning.
You're here to talk about a very complicated and difficult issue. MSD is proposing a rate increase, correct?
That is correct.
Before we get there, I thought the voters just approved some giant rate increase or some giant bond issue for MSD.
4 years ago, they approved a bond issue for our current 4 years worth of capital program. As we progress with Project Clear, we're looking to see if the voters either want to pay with cash or propose another bond issue, additional bond authority to pay for the next 4 years.
So that 4 years is taken care of and everything went swimmingly, right?
It's done on schedule and we've met all the requirements of the EPA.
What was that vote from 4 years ago? What have you done with that money for the last 4 years?
We've built about $900 million worth of capital improvements. This next 4 years, we're looking to start $1.5 billion worth of capital improvements. And part of that will ask the voters whether they want to have us borrow some of the money or whether they'd rather pay for it all as cash.
Wasn't there a conversation or at least an edict from the feds that said that the stormwater and the wastewater can't show up together?
Yeah. What happens is that's what our problem is. It's stormwater getting to the wastewater system, and that causes overflows. That's the problem we're resolving. We're actually two utilities. We do have a stormwater system that's outside of this issue that we're having another proposal for the voters, and then the wastewater system. And the biggest thing is to get the stormwater out of the system. That's most of what we're doing.
And it's clear that where you're going to do the improvement, so that's not the question, just how we're going to pay for it.
True, yes. We have to do all the improvements. The question of the voters are, how do you want us to pay for the wastewater part of the improvements?
Because the feds are making us do this, right?
Yes, we signed an agreement with the federal judge, and we have to move forward with these improvements.
And the reason why it was that way is that's the way it was set up, because St. Louis is such an old town, an old city, and the infrastructure was such 200 years ago. It didn't matter that the wastewater and the storm runoff was together, right?
Right. People weren't really paying attention. There were 79 separate entities that were run in different ways, and right now we're being forced to meet the requirements of Clean Water Act.
Okay, so going forward, what are the options for customers?
On the wastewater side, again, remembering we have to do about $1.5 billion worth of work over the next 4 years. They'll be asked whether they want to authorize an additional $900 million worth of borrowing. If they do so, their average rates, monthly cost will go from about $40 a month to $60 a month. If the voters decide they'd rather pay for it in cash, the current cost of about $40 a month will go up to about $96 per month by 2020.
Okay, will it be $40 more or $40 total?
Currently, they're paying $40.
Okay.
So the choice is with bonding, it goes up to $60 per month. Without bonding, it goes up to $96 per month by 2020.
Why the difference? That seems really a
well,
big
if you borrow
difference.
money now, you don't have to pay for it in cash. Think of your house. You can either borrow money and pay less now and pay over time,
right,
or you could pay cash for your house, and that requires a large amount of money up front.
But I would think, though, over time with the interest and all that other stuff, that those costs would be such they would cost more.
And that is the decision folks have to make. If they want lower rates now, you do have to pay for every dollar you borrow now. You have to pay $3 later, but it's lower now. If you don't want to pay that later on, then you vote no. We go ahead and pay for it with cash, and you pay for it, and you're done.
Once you finish paying for it, does your rate then go back down?
It will at some point. Right now, the program's looking to peak right around 2023 and start going down. How much it'll go down will really depend on how much the voters decide to pay for this, either through bonding or through rates.
So you're asking the public what?
We're asking them, again, on the wastewater side, whether or not they want to authorize us to do $900 million more borrowing. If they do...
But how are you asking them? Are they just
taking... I'm sorry. It'll be a vote in 2016.
Okay.
There'll be a ballot initiative.
So it'll be either or will it be two different votes, or how is this going to all work out?
Well, it'll be either or. They'll be given the option. They'll be told by 2020 your rates will go up to $60 if you vote for the bonds. Mm-hmm. If you don't vote for the bonds, your average cost will go up to $96 per month.
Mm-hmm. Why are you giving them the option this time as opposed to last time?
Well, we did last time as well. Folks voted the bond issue in. They also had the option of voting no for bonds, and that would have raised rates even higher than what they are now. Mm-hmm. Same option as they had the last two times, 8 years ago as well.
So if they choose the bond, which would then their rate would go from 40 to 60, that's for a very long time, right?
Yes, yeah, the bonds will be from 20 to 30 years, depending on who we borrow from.
Right, so for the next 20 years, your rate's going to go up $20. Or for the next 10 years, your rate's going to go up $50.
Not sure the math's right.
But you know what I'm saying? But I mean, 20
yes.
something, that's sort of, you pay off the cash part of it, if you will. The pay as you go option is shorter, but it's more money.
It's more money up front, less money in the long run, yes.
4 years ago, what did that pass by?
Passed by, I think it was a little over 80%.
So 80% of the people would rather float the bonds and pay longer term.
Yeah, we've had 3 votes for bonds in the past, and each time they've passed somewhere between 70 and 85%.
So clearly the public has spoken. They would rather have the cheaper bill today.
That's what they've spoken about, yes.
Yeah. So would you suggest that that's the way it's going to go in 2016?
I wouldn't suggest anything. I think we're going to provide a lot of information to the public and let them decide what they believe is the right way to pay for the wastewater.
This money, it's going to go towards what? More specifically, what are you going to do with all of this money?
Well, capital projects, and there's 3 kinds. One, we talked about stormwater being the problem. One is getting the stormwater out of the system. In the city area, that looks like rain gardens, kind of preventing the stormwater from going in. Most of the work in the county is disconnecting folks, that roof downspouts that are inappropriately connected to the wastewater system. They're laterals. We're paying to have those disconnected. There are places where we have to fix the system. We need to line it or rehabilitate the system. And also there are places where we'll have to build some new sewers. We'll have to build underground storage so that instead of stopping the water from getting in, we'll collect it, wait till the rain's over, run it through a treatment plant, and treat the water that way.
So the homeowners who have their downspouts connected to the sewer, you're going to pay to have that taken out?
It is the most cost-effective way for us to solve our problem for the public improvement. It would be 4 to 5 times more expensive if we just built a larger system.
But the homeowner is not allowed to put their downspout into the sewer system.
It has not been per code for a long time. When St. Louis was developed, when we went from the city and we moved out to the county and built separate storm and sanitary systems instead of a combined sewer, the homes were still built like they were in combined systems. So we have a lot of homes where those downspouts are connected.
And they were grandfathered in?
Yes, they exist now, and we're looking to help folks bring their plumbing up to code to help solve our problem.
Gotcha. How many homes have their downspouts hooked up to the sewer system?
We're estimating it's somewhere around 100,000. It might be more than that. We haven't completed our investigations. It's basically a home-by-home investigation.
Right.
The most common method is to put smoke in the sewers and see if smoke comes out of the gutters. And that is the easiest way to check to see whether or not somebody has their downspout connected.
And you can certainly see if somebody did it illegally, right?
Yes, it's very obvious when it happens. So, apparently, you don't have your downspout connected to 2 of these.
All right, Brian Holscher, where can people go to find more information?
Well, they can go to MSD's website, www.stlmsd.com. There's 2 pieces of information. One is the wastewater we talked about. Also, we'll be offering folks the option of changing the way they pay for stormwater. We've got a history of different levels of service because of different amounts that folks pay. We're looking to even that out throughout the district, and that'll be another election we'll ask them to consider in 2016. Once
this is done, are you going to come back to the voters again? I mean, is this the final step in this project, or is there more coming down the pike?
Stormwater, that would be it for stormwater unless we hear from folks they'd like to consider paying for something else and paying some more. On the wastewater side, we will come back 4 years from now looking for the same option. There's probably another $1.5 billion that needs to be done between 2021 and 2024. So every 4 years we'll be coming back.
It seems like every town has a similar problem, right? Every city's got a basic issue.
Yeah, there's over 200 cities that have this issue, and the federal government is simply working down the list and requiring them to enter some kind of agreement in court and say, here's the time period you'll have to do this work.
Brian, is there anything that I haven't mentioned that you wanted people to know?
No, I think you've hit everything.
Good. Brian Holscher, the website one more time?
www.stlmsd.com.
Very confusing stuff. Thanks for coming in and sorting it out for us.
Thank you very much.
828 here, Big 550 KTRS. How about